Hi everyone and welcome. You're here today with Andy Valkyrie Divine, and today we're continuing our journey through the Third Eye Chakra. It's actually our day 3, which is tools for balance. So I decided today to challenge myself, seeing how we're talking about how we can balance the third eye and how we can open the third eye so that we can become more intuitive and have that inner knowing and receive those kinds of insights that go beyond, the immediate sort of space and time that we're bound to in our 3D world. And so what I decided to do is to not use any books and not actually read from anything other than whatever insights that I'm getting intuitively to convey to you. The only thing I have are my keywords, which are written over here from day 1. So it's all about dreams, memory, imagination, visualization, color, patterns, and meditation. So these are the words I have here, and it's just to give me at least a cue of what I can kind of follow in my mind. I'll be just using that and whatever comes in order to go ahead and proceed with today's video. And if you'd like to also challenge yourself, I do have a little challenge at the end for you. So let's get started. So I'll start today by maybe starting out with the idea of imagination and visualization, right? So remember that we were talking yesterday how the third eye is sort of like a center of information. It's like that command center where all the information gets stored and retrieved and reaccessed and recalled and interpreted and so on and so forth. And when we think of the third eye, we think a lot about the brain, about thoughts, about our mind, because those are sort of like the main elements, the main aspects that really that are really part of the third eye, right? So the third eye is sort of like the eye that sees, but sees through the mind, not really physically. And so what I would suggest is really to go ahead and actually practice exercises of both visualization and imagination. And this whole idea of letting your imagination run has been so completely shunned down by our society today. And when we're raised, as we're little kids, we're being told, oh, don't think like that, or, stop saying that you have an imaginary friend, or, all the time we put children down because, they're so imaginative and they see things in such a beautiful and pure kind of light, and in adulthood we don't, and so we tend to dismiss that as being unreal, although it is just the reality that is being perceived from the child. And we have our own reality that through time we perceive through our own lenses of perception. So I would say that in our world we don't use our imagination enough. We don't know how to use our imagination enough because we've stopped using those mental faculties all the way back when we were children, and so it's really about pulling that out and practicing, even if it's for 1 or 2 minutes a day, which, that can be hard in and of itself. 1 to 2 minutes might not sound like much, but 1 to 2 minutes of active visualizing and imagining and letting your mind just flow and go and be creative is really something that over time can develop to be very enriching. And remember that it's with our thoughts that we really manifest. Thoughts become things, right? And through visualizing, we're literally taking our thought and we're putting a picture on it, right? And so we're really seeing in our mind's eye what we want to achieve, what we want to do, what we want to receive, and so on and so forth. The visualization can be about anything. I mean, for all intents and purposes, because we're doing, for example, Tamara's doing the love grid, I'm doing the abundance grid. Visualize yourself just being fully, absolutely in love with yourself. Whichever way that might take place, I don't know, right? Like, it's your visualization and you can do it however feels right for you. Or for that matter, picture yourself being a money magnet. Anywhere you turn, you're just getting money everywhere, right? Or it's up to you. Pick any visualization, pick anything at all, anything you want to be imaginative, creative about, and just focus on that for a minute or two. That's it. And over time, these practical exercises really let you expand your mind and expand, getting messages or visions or that kind of like psychic, intuitive aspect that really works hand in hand with the third eye, because that's what the third eye is all about. It's just going ahead and going beyond the limitations of what we know in our 3D physical reality, and actually going beyond that with what our mind can do. And it's such a strange concept to us, because we're the only creatures really on Earth that have this ability to think and to think through consciousness. It's a conscious thought. It's not reactive. It's not instinctive. It's really just it's that cortex. Remember, I was talking about how we have that idea of executive functioning and the outer cortex of our brain that really gives us that ability to have consciousness and to experience thoughts and have free will and all of these things. So we need to learn how to use that and utilize it so that we can manifest and we can receive sort of like the intuitive messages that we want and we're looking for, so that we can predict and we can tell outcomes and sort of see forward, not just with our eyes but with our mind's eye. So I would definitely encourage imagination, visualization exercises. Dreams was another thing that kind of goes hand in hand with this. And yesterday I was saying how dreams are very important, and we want to try to take notes. So maybe having a dream journal would be a great idea. A lot of the times people that don't that are not very in tune with their third eye or are disconnected from it, or they say one of the biggest complaints is sort of like I don't dream, and I don't dream. It's very rare that I dream, and it's very rare that I'm actually able to remember what I dreamt, and when I do, I'm so ecstatic because I'm like, oh my God, I actually remembered, So every time you do, try to take a note of it and write it down, and go to bed with that idea of I'm going to receive, or I am receiving messages through my dreams, or something of that matter, like any affirmation that feels right for you, where you can affirm your intention that you want and you are ready to receive insights through your dreams, and that'll come. The more you ask of it, the more it'll come. And I started seeing that, recently I'm starting to see that more and more, that I'm kind of getting snippets here and there, and so that's definitely a way to do it. You can have your journal, you can write down your dreams, our dreams are also the way that we are imaginative and we are creative, and we are, envisioning things, but from a subconscious perspective. And so we really want to try to take that and bring it into our own consciousness, and take it from the subconscious level to the conscious level. And that can go beyond into like lucid dreaming and other things. I'm not going to go into that here, but just food for thought. Just food for thought. Let's see. Other things that you could do is practice with tarot cards, oracle cards, any sort of practice that you can put into place where your intuition is kind of being tested. And that might not feel so good, but again, do it with the feeling that it's for your own good and you want to develop your intuition. And that's how I started with with reading tarot cards. I've been reading tarot cards since I was 14, but when I started, I had no idea, and even now, I mean, I've been doing this for years and years, and sometimes if you ask me, hey, what's the meaning of Five of Swords, I don't know, like I can't tell you off the top of my head what it is, but when I'm sitting and I'm having a reading with someone, all of the information and all of the insight that I need to know about that card and what that card represents for the person that I'm reading for is all there, and it's coming to me. So I don't need to learn mechanically, what the card means or so on and so forth. It's just, the information is just there. All I'm trying to do is just access it. And that's really what the third eye is all about. It's not about intellectually learning everything and memorizing everything, even though memory has a lot to do with the third eye. But it's really getting that intuitive sense and understanding, from somewhere else. It's like I said, it's like a psychic connection that you have, right, which comes from the divine, of course. So that would be another thing, test your intuition out. Have friends. I'm sure people are going to be more than ecstatic to get a tarot card reading from you, or an oracle card reading, or other things that I used to do when I was a bit younger is try to read people's auras and try to figure out the colors that, what was I seeing, and that's also a great exercise to do. And I was actually kind of surprised because I had a friend comment on my blog the other day, and she was saying, I could see your aura when you were talking about the sacral chakra. It was like there was this orange glow all around you, and I swear I could just feel it, and it was so palpable, and I could see it, and and that will happen. Inevitably, that will happen as your third eye opens up, as you yourself open up to receiving all of these messages and being a conduit, because what you're doing is you're actually opening up as a conduit for these messages to be received, right? And transmit it, for that matter. You can also transmit messages. I'm talking more about receiving, because typically that's why we want to open our third eye, because we want to receive messages and get this insight, right? But it's not limited to that. I mean, there's also transmitting the messages too. So that would be another thing. Let's see, what else is there? Color, of course. So when we talk about color, again, we're talking about wearing the kinds of color that, purple, or it also could be like a darker blue. Like I said, depending on the two different schools of thought, you can wear either purple or dark blue. It doesn't really make a difference. Just go with what feels right to you. Again, follow your intuition. That's the message. Me, like I said, I go more for purple. I love purple a lot more than I do blue. I'm getting used to blue too. It's a learning curve there, but so I tend to just go for purple. So wearing purple is definitely one way to do it. Having the purple crystals or blue crystals, working with them in terms of color frequency and chromotherapy. I'll discuss the crystals in a minute. That's another way to go about it. And also, I'm talking about the color purple, but keep in mind that the third eye's element is light, and light is the combination of all colors, right? And so with our eyes, we're able to perceive light in its 7 forms, right? In its spectrum, and a visible, whatever the visible spectrum that we're talking about. So everything from red all the way to purple. And so all of these frequencies we're able to perceive because our eyes are able to perceive the spectrum of light that is visible to us. And there's other ones. There's the infrared and X-ray and whatever that we don't actually see, that other animals and creatures are able to see. But for us and in our build-up, it's also because it's through light that we actually have the different colors, and also the different associations of colors to our chakras. So it's the same exact principle that we are beings of light, and light actually manifests itself through us through these colors. And when you put all of these colors together, you get white, which is the color of light. So all this to say, I'm getting a lot of messages. All this to say that you don't have to limit yourself to purple. The idea is that you want to make it as colorful as you can. Make your life colorful, see things in a colorful fashion, wear things that are colorful, because that brings vibration into your. It's vibrant, it's radiant, and it further reflects those different spectrums of visible light that we have. All of these colors, and light is white. However, when it hits matter, it turns into all of these different colors, and it's through the third eye that through our eyes, and of course the third eye, the mental eye, that we are actually able to perceive all of this. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible. So benefit from that. You could be colorblind, or there's people out there that can't see colors, or that are blind altogether, and all they see is darkness all the time, and we take that for granted as though it's nothing. But imagine if we lived in a world where everything is black and white. I'm not sure I'd want to live in a world like that, even though black and white are my favorite colors. You know, and I like color, and it brings a lot of life into our world and in the way that we see things and perceive things. And you know, just going through this series with you guys, I've actually forced myself to be more colorful and to see things in a more colorful fashion, because I don't have clothes that are orange or yellow or purple, you know. However, I have tried in different ways, through like a scarf or a flower, or actually real flowers, not just the ones that I was putting in my hair, to embody the energy of that color and what it means, you know. And you definitely get a different feel for every color that you wear. So yeah, so that's my spiel on that. I really like this idea of colors and working with that. Anything else that I'd like to mention is okay, patterns. We were talking about how the third eye is all about seeing things that like as we go up through the chakras, what ends up happening is we're starting to get more into the mental realms, right? They're not as palpable as the lower chakras are. However, you know, the good thing about this is that as we move up, we really get to start to see things on a larger perspective, more of a wholeness aspect to it, right? And patterns are really like that. It's not that we're looking at like finicky little details here and there. It's we're really looking at the whole ensemble of things, that holistic sort of combination of everything, to see what happens over time. So if I go from like A to B to C to whatever, throughout a certain time frame, what actually happens, you know, with, for example, with my relationships, with money, with where I live, with you know, who knows, everything, right? Anything and everything can and is a pattern, like can be and is a pattern. So the third eye is all about seeing the patterns in you, and a lot of the times, once we recognize the patterns, it's very easy to know what course of action to take, you know. So it's only a matter of time before you realize that, you know, every time after you drink 10 beers you might get sick. Well, after doing that 10 times, you know, times 10 times getting sick, you'll understand and you'll see a pattern that every time you do that, inevitably, because you drink so much, you get sick, or, you know, whatever. The idea is that as we perceive the patterns, and as we're actually able to look into it and recognize what the patterns are, we are then in a much better position to make decisions about the future and where we want to go. So that's definitely something that I think is very beneficial and very good to try to work with when we're developing our third eye chakra, and to really focus on you know, seeing the patterns, recognizing the patterns, and then allowing those to move us forward, because they do, and they allow us that kind of insight that we need, that sort of like analysis, in order for us to make decisions to move forward. So that's that. I'll show you a few crystals here that I have. So I'm going to start with amethyst. So I have this big baby over here, and I have a couple other pieces of amethyst that you can kind of see here. This is just a raw piece. It's not polished. This is a amethyst point, and this is a amethyst tumble. And amethyst is, I mean, for me, it's like my go-to stone for a lot of things, and I think for everybody. I mean, everyone loves amethyst. I don't know what it is about it, but I mean, people go like gaga over amethyst because it's just that kind of stone, and it has those kinds of properties that people would go for that. It's very protective. It's very powerful. You know, it greatly enhances your mental abilities. Very good for decision making when you're not really sure and you want to gain clarity on that. Amethyst is really good. You know, it has so many properties. I mean, you know, I could spend 2 hours just talking about amethyst. But for the scope of our lesson, in relation to the third eye chakra, it's really good because it's a mental stone, and so it brings clarity to the mind. It organizes the mind in you know, in a way that you can literally see the patterns. it's very intuitive. So it's, you know, it's the perfect psychic stone because it really helps you tune into that intuition and hone into those psychic abilities. So it basically heightens your how can I put it, your spiritual level to a higher degree, so to speak. And by working with it, we tend to be able to access higher and higher levels. So it brings us up. There's a certain sense of ascension as we work with that. So I love amethyst, and I mean, it's also my birthstone, so how could I not love it? I have here a few tumbles of ametrine, so that's a combination of amethyst and citrine. I don't know if you guys can see it, I hope you can. And so it has some similar properties to amethyst, of course, but then it also combines the properties of citrine, and citrine is a huge booster and happy stone, and so this is very good for sort of like alleviating depression and sort of bringing up our, you know, when we're kind of down in the dumps and we're just kind of having a crappy day mentally and all that thinking is kind of cycling in our mind. Well, ametrine is really good for dispelling that, and I really like that because I tend to fall into that pattern a lot. Like I'm a very kind of intellectual thinking person, and this really helps me to get out of that, you know, thinking mindset and just go beyond. Other crystals that you can use are lepidolite. So lepidolite is also a very I think it's a very gentle stone. I like the energy of it because it's just very gentle. And what lepidolite does, it really kind of, well, I shouldn't say tranquilizes you, but it really brings in that serenity so that you can see clear. Like when there's too much chatter going on in the head and you just can't get out of your thoughts and there's just too much going on. Lepidolite is really good for that, and lepidolite actually has lithium, and lithium is an active ingredient that is used a lot to calm people that have mental, you know, mental disorders, that exhibit mental disorders, and so and there's other ones. There's a whole slew of crystals that have lithium in them, but lepidolite is one of them that is very good for the third eye, and so it's more of a sedating stone when your mind is kind of just going crazy and you're trying to shut down the mind, to really be silent and get into that sacred space where you can actually access your intuition and hear it clearly. So it's very good for that. And other ones I'm just going to mention quickly just for the sake of time. So I have here two little pieces. I got this one, I know it's really small, and this one. They're the same thing, so it's sugilite. This particular one is very gray, so it has dark gray with purple bands kind of through it. This one's a little bit better. You can see, well, you can't because it's so small. Here, maybe that's better. You can see again the purple and the gray and the black. And sugilite is absolutely amazing for opening your third eye. So if you really want to work with a crystal that helps you with that, sugilite will take you that step further. I find it also a little bit more you know, it gives you that oomph that you know, if you really want to take it that step further, if you feel that you're ready and want to go that route, sugilite is definitely the way to go. And we have here my beautiful Auralite 23 that I sleep with all the time when I go to bed since I got it the other day. Again, I'm just going to repeat myself. It's a present that I got from Evelyn, and I really like it. And Auralite 23 has some of the same properties as amethyst, but it actually has a much like everything that amethyst does is like heightened times 100 as far as Auralite 23 is concerned, and it's really a spiritual crystal. If you're looking for again, for honing into that spiritual connection, the psychic abilities, the intuitive mindset, the insight that you want to call in, like, this is it. There's nothing better than that. I'm so thankful that I got this, because like you know, that's what I'm saying. I'm starting to sleep with it. Like I put it under my pillow at night, and I'm starting to get a lot of insights just by doing that. And I don't do anything else. It's just when I go to bed, I just stick it under the pillow, and that's it. And of course, I do say my affirmation of what I'm expecting to receive, or what I'm looking for. And if you're sort of on the blue side of the spectrum and not so much on the purple, then there's different dark shades of blue crystals that you can choose from. So I have here sodalite, I have lapis. So there's sodalite, lapis lazuli, there's blue apatite over here. So these are just some other crystals that you can use again for the same purposes of meditating. You can just take one and, you know, as you're laying down, you can just kind of like put it on your forehead and meditate with it. You can also always change positions with it too. Like you can, you might want to just hold it in your lap, you know, in your hand. You might want to just lay down and hold them like this, you know, maybe like one in each hand. You can put it on your forehead, you can put it on your heart. Even though you're emphasizing the third eye, you may get different messages from different places. So you know, it's really up to you and however it feels right for you. So the challenge for today is for you to pick a crystal, if you have one, and just do a meditation with whatever crystals you'd like to work with. And if you want, of course you don't have to, but if you'd like, I'm welcoming comments. So if you want to just comment on my blog, I'd very much appreciate it. I'd like to know sort of what's your meditation like and what kind of insights are you getting. And you know, it doesn't have to be long. Anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes is more than enough, because in the beginning we're not used to really sort of sitting in that for very long. If it goes for longer, then perfect. That's really good. So just pick any crystal at all, and if you can do a short meditation with it, again, just sit there and just let the messages come. Open yourself up. Make sure that you're open to receiving. It's a full moon, so it's a pretty powerful time to be doing this. So it's also why I chose to do that today. And let me know how it goes. And if you don't have a crystal, if you don't have any at home or anything like that, then try an imagination / visualization exercise. You know, and pick something, anything at all that you either want or you're striving to go towards, or you'd like more of in your life, or, you know, whatever it is. And just visualize and imagine, and use your visual faculties to really tune into visualizing a better whatever it might be for you. Okay, so I'd also like to know how that goes for you. And later, not today, but soon, there's going to be a video coming out with my visualizations and the kinds of things that I've been getting and what I've actually ended up doing as a result of that. But stay tuned. Stay tuned. Let me not get ahead of myself. So that's it for today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. I tried my best to use my intuition and hone in on whatever downloads I was meant to receive and send to you and transmit to you. So I hope that was good. And like I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to the highest part of our chakra column, so to speak, and we're going to go to the crown. So I'm excited for that. We're almost at the end, guys. Oh my god. Alright, so have a good one, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Blessings.